Hello YouTube, Jared back with another video, and after 7 months, I had to go back and check, 7 months since my very first video on Project Tau, I am officially done. As you can see, I now have every single model in this project painted, every model based, I got the drones done. This project is officially done, and this is my very first army for 40K that's over 2,000 points. Just over 2,400 points of Tau. And I am ecstatic that I was able to get this project done. And they came out so nice. The basing came out great. Everything worked out. And you'll notice we have one extra late edition here. A good buddy of mine had an extra Farsight. So Farsight has also joined my Tau army. And then we have a pair of ethereals to lead the army. We have our Dark Strider, 2 Fireblades, and then a whopping 80 infantry split up into the Pathfinders, the close combat, and the range guys with their turrets, and all the drones are just kind of scattered around. The 3 vehicles, the tanks in the back, the Devilfish, the Sky Ray, and the other one, my brain forgets it. And then we got over here in the corner, we have our 2 Ghost Keels, 7 Crisis suits, including the Commander, the Piranha, and then 15 stealth suits as well. So this army is finally officially complete. Can't wait to get it on the table and actually play a game with it. But this project was such a massive undertaking. I was originally hoping to get this done in 3 months, but then I added more models to it, and then I was working on other projects and Imperial Fists and some Age of Sigmar stuff, and then I was injured, and then I got even more stuff to add to it, and it kind of ballooned and ballooned. But I finally got this project done. It's in the books, all the basing's done, it's all ready to go. But this was quite an adventure. I've had so much fun painting up all the Tau. They do have some hard to remember names, especially in their lore, but what a fun army to collect and build and paint. And the real kicker with this army is, because I bought it as these broken used lots, and I was able to get nearly all of these models via trading, this army, full cost, was under $100. This is, if you believe it or not, under $100. If I went out and bought this army, MSRP, new in box from a Warhammer store, almost $2,000. But I got it for under 100, maybe just over 100 if you count all the paints and basing materials. But this army cost a fraction of that because it came predominantly from 2 used lots that I bought as these big bulk lots, sold the non-Tau stuff so that it was basically free, and then paint stripped and repaired and re-glued and used my bits box. And so it took a lot of work of restoration, but this army is a labor of love in terms of just such a massive restoration project. But at the end of the day, it wound up being like $100 or less pretty much for everything I got. The things I bought outside of the 2 trade lots that more or less paid for themselves. Piranha I did buy from a game store just for the fun of it because I wanted to treat myself, and it was only 40-something bucks. And then Farsight and one of the ethereals I got in trades. I traded and paid a small amount of money, bought them used from 2 different local guys who are buddies of mine who I've done deals with before. So Farsight was part of a larger trade deal, and the ethereal was part of another deal on the side. And he said, hey, do you want my extra ethereal? I said, sure. So I pitched him in some extra bucks. So I don't have an actual dollar value for how much I paid for those 2 guys, just because they were part of larger mixed lot trades, because that's what I do. But in terms of roughly how it works out, it is under $100 for this incredible army. And so really excited about that. And then I did that pastels trick. So I did an orange Griff-Charger orange contrast paint on the base, and then I used isopropyl alcohol to apply crushed pastels to their bases, and that gives it this really rough sandy desert look. And then of course I had this board, which I believe was from one of the was the reversible board from, I want to say 9th edition, one of the other editions. I found this board, and ironically I'm pretty sure I got it in a trade deal too, but it's the same kind of color and texture and lights and darks as those pastels. And so when I saw this board and I saw what the color of my bases were working out, I'm like, I got to put these together. And sure enough, it really gives it the effect. I did not paint all of the tiny, tiny markings or put the decals on them for their sept. Honestly, I didn't think it was worth it, but I did do kind of my own custom scheme. So every squad of 10 has a slightly different shoulder marking so I can keep track of who's who. And then there's some colors that I used for the different markers. So whites generally are either a squad leader, you can see all the squad leaders over here, or, you know, a commander generally will have more white on them. And then red is generally ballistic weapons or farsight. And then the kind of darker orangey color is used just for kind of breaking of the monotony of the Tau ochre. But the really fun thing about the Tau that is very lore accurate is they paint their armor as camo for whatever world they're fighting on. And so if they're on a desert world, they're going to use this classic ochre scheme. This is one of the original paint schemes for Tau. My own take on it, my own spin. I added some other colors to it and did my own sept markers. But this is that old school style marker. And you'll notice that this is all Tau. And so the theme of this army was ochre, old school ochre, all gun line, all Tau, no Kroot, no Vespids. Now, I have a single Kroot model I have painted before, and I may eventually do some Kroot. But I wanted this army to be old school style Tau from before I played the game. And the theme of this army, I think every one of my armies I'm going to give a theme. The theme of this army I've decided is overwhelming fire. And so this army is all about how many guns and plasma and missiles and ballistics can you put into a target. And so this army has just an uncountable amount of guns. Between the double guns on the drones, you've got the machine guns and the rocket launchers, and this army is just absolutely loaded to the gills and is ready to shoot everything. The other fun thing is because we've got the devilfish to get guys in close fast, and we've got a 3 squad of 5 each of the stealth suits. Originally, when I started this army, it was 3 each, and then I got that second lot to get some more stealth suits to get up to 5 each. We've got the stealth suits to move fast, the double ghost keels to move fast. Oh, there's also 2 broadsides back there. Can't forget them. It's really going to be easy, I think, to overlap lanes of fire. And so you can have some closer up things like the ghost keels, like the units in the devilfish with the medium range guns, or the stealth suits. They'll be able to get in close. And then in the back lines, you have the longer range guns. You've got the piranha running in there and denying objectives. And then you have the big cannon and the broadsides coming in, and they're going to be doing some damage. And then as a reaction, whoever's struggling the most, whichever objective needs a little help, you got crisis suits to run in there and to cause some havoc. So this army, I feel like, has got a lot of balance. It's got a lot of mobility and a lot of shooting. The only thing it's going to struggle in, of course, is going to be melee. But you got the stealth suits, you got the ghost keels, and farsight's in there as well, too. And so what that'll do is, in theory, if I play this thing right, allow me to control who's in melee with who. And then, you know, you feed chaff in and you do trade-ups. And so you trade weaker models for stronger models and bait people out of cover. They go in, kill one of my models, and then get absolutely wailed on by the broadsword, by the broad strikes and the bigger cannons in the back. The long range stuff just cleans up. And so a lot of bait and switch, but overall so happy with how this army came out, and just really enjoyed building this and doing some. This was a kit bash model, so some kit bashing, some building, and this guy's magnet. This is the far side. This is the only model that's magnetized, but the commander in armor has extra armor pieces, and then he has 8 different weapon options that I can switch around. So he's got the switch around options. I did a video on him back when I painted him a couple months ago. And then I have all the bits on the devilfish chassis is very modular. So all of these, the top bits can switch out. There's an extra gun over there. There's an extra close hatch. And so that gives me some options. And then I actually did open up the the cargo bays on those guys too. I don't want to knock anything over by reaching that far, but they're openable. They were originally glued shut, and I popped the glue and was able to get those. So at least 2 of them, I think, open. And then one of the ghost keels, let's see if I can get this to work here. This guy, I believe, his helmet should open still. Yeah, see, there he is peeking out inside. I'll pull him over so you can see him. And so we got our pilot in here. This one, unfortunately, doesn't have a pilot, but those guys came out really well, too. And then they've got their specialty weapons. And I saw they have the vehicle keyword, so they should be able to use big guns never tire and be able to shoot even in melee. In theory, if I'm reading the rules right. But overall, really, really happy with this army. Ironically, I do have a Pathfinder squad that was a kill team that was one of the very first things I ever painted, but it's in a purple, white, and green scheme that completely clashes with this one. And I didn't want to paint over one of my very first models. And I'm at 2,400 points, so I didn't need it. And I got this squad over here. They're missing a drone, and if you look really closely at my drones, a bunch of them are built wrong, and I wasn't able to fix them or have enough parts to fix them. So if I have any regrets on this army, it's that the drones are definitely missing a couple, and a lot of them are missing the specialty drones. So I'm a little bummed about that, but overall, you get an army on the table like this, and it just looks so good. Like, it was a chore to paint 80 infantry, but I do not regret it. Like, that block of tides of soldiers, this is what an army feels like. And one of the things I love about 40K that Warhammer does so much better than a lot of other games is, yeah, it's playable at a smaller model count, but it plays well at a bigger model count. And so you get to field something that feels like an army. You can send 3 or 4 squads of guys in, and there's still 5 squads left. So that is a really special feeling. A lot of games, I feel like these days, have low model count. And I'm just not a big fan of low model count because it doesn't scratch that giant game itch. There's not that spectacle. And so I just, the spectacle of having painted all of these models, and there's 116 with roughly 46 drones and turrets and extra gun bits and all that jazz. So yeah, 116 models. Having painted that many, being able to field just about all of this, though if I play 2,000 points, I'll have to take a few things out, but I'll have some options. Just, it's such a good feeling. And so I have no regrets in painting this big army. I'm looking forward to getting my second army done so it can fight my first army. Should be Ultramarines, and that army is ironically almost done. So once that's done, I'll make a video on them, and then hopefully I can do maybe a battle report of, hey, here's how the battle went between my Tau and my Ultramarines, and then Necrons will hopefully be right behind those guys. But right now I'm just celebrating having finally finished all these crazy Tau. Let me see if I can get you a ground shot here so you can see all the ranks and all the little guys lined up to do battle against the Imperium and stand fast and fly fast. Man, this was such a fun project. So I hope you enjoy seeing this collection. And for those of you who saw my original video where this was a broken up lot, the Tau have risen again. If you haven't seen that video, go back and watch the video I made 7 months ago when I started this project. These models were in such a bad state. Just 4 layers of paint. Almost everything was broken. You got half the shoulder pads were missing or upside down. Like, this army was in just such a sad state. And I have fully restored it now, and I'm so pleased with it. So thank you again for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I got a lot more armies coming after this as we get ready for the next edition. I really do think I'm going to be able to build 11 armies for 11th edition, and that's the goal, and this is the first army on that track. So I appreciate you subscribing and following my journey as I try to do the crazy thing of building 11 armies. Not all of them will be this big, but this is one of the bigger ones, and I'm excited. And then I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.